Hi there. In a previous video I discussed ignoble pleasures, but I didn't really define what that was. So in today's video we're going to discuss the ignoble pleasures, where they came from, what they are, and why they're bad for us. Thank you very much for watching. In his book Poetics, Aristotle came up with the theorem of ignoble pleasures, and basically it's just the idea of anything that an animal does naturally is something that humans shouldn't be doing. Specifically on the video I did on Do Americans Like Being Offended, I discussed being offended as a ignoble pleasure. So we've basically delved into what it is, but let's talk about some examples of other things that are ignoble pleasures. So for example, copulation, the idea of doing something just for the pure pleasure or enjoyment out of it, is something that Aristotle believes goes against our nature of having higher capacity and higher knowledge, that we shouldn't strive for those things because they are lesser or baser instincts and don't get us to the realizations and the self-actualization that humanity should be striving towards. So what are some of the other ignoble pleasures besides copulation, purely for the pleasure aspect, such as lust? You could easily say that any of the 7 deadly sins, conceivably, are ignoble pleasures, in addition to things like being offended. Anything that damages you or hurts somebody else may be considered an ignoble pleasure. Things like hedonism in general, or things like extreme fixation and pleasure derived from things that we ought not derive pleasure from. Substance abuse, for example, would be considered an ignoble pleasure by using Aristotle's definition. In comparison, feedback and reasoned critique are good, but criticism for the sake of deriving pleasure from just, being a dick is an ignoble pleasure. There are certain things that we all know that we shouldn't do, that we do, that either harms us mentally or spiritually or intellectually, and if they don't actually harm us necessarily, could harm others, or they just take up time and space and energy and resources, maybe money, that might be better off going to other things or other interests or other pleasures. Things like reading a good nonfiction book, for example, or for that matter, some literary classic of fiction would be a more noble pleasure in comparison to an ignoble pleasure. Do you get the gist? Any questions? Let me know what your thoughts are below, and if you do have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you thought this video was interesting or educational, please subscribe. Take care, and thank you very much for watching.